My name is Bisi Akande. Welcome again to my YouTube channel. I'm called the Inspirer. I want to talk to you, share with you on something that I've titled Confronting Bad Behavior in Others. And I know that this is something that you as a leader, myself, and many other leaders will face out there. Sometimes we find people do stuff that we just cannot relate with. Maybe you ask someone to deliver a report and the report comes in late, or you get to work and discover that what needs to be done has not been done. And sometimes it can be so surprising. Sometimes it drives down productivity. It even goes ahead to impact other people. And as leaders, we are challenged with confronting these issues. It's one of the difficulties that leaders face when they lead others. So how do you confront bad behavior in others? I have a few tips that I believe that will be helpful to you and to me and to every leader out there, because it is the leader's duty to actually confront negative behavior so that they can bring transformation. We have a duty to bring reformation and transformation to the workplace. So what do we do? My tip for you, the first one is consider the purpose for which you want to confront such a bad behavior. You see, we are not confronting the behavior because we just want to break someone. We do it because we want to make somebody. The reason for confronting that's what determines how we rise out of that negative behavior, how the person rises out of that negative behavior, of course, with an impact on the organization and on the team that you are leading. So you've got to understand that we deal with the issue, not with the person. I've heard leaders say things like, I'm going to deal with you. See, when you deal with the person and you don't deal with the issue, what happens is that you create more enemies in the place of work, because they begin to say things like, maybe you don't like me, that's why you are doing this to me. And the second thing is that you've got to be able to also understand that affirmation comes before confrontation. What do I mean? You've got to affirm the person, because that's what good leaders do. They find the good in a negative situation and they affirm it. There's a principle called the 101 principle, crafted by a great leader that we all respect. And that principle says, look for the 1% that you agree on or that you find great and pay attention to it. So if the report came late, was it organized? Was it in order? Is it a good job? So you could start by saying you did a great job. However, it came late. So let's start with affirmation before we confront. Number 3, you've got to be able to identify and clarify the issue. Sometimes we are not on one page because the person who came up with this negative or bad behavior really doesn't know what the issue is. So you've got to be able to identify what really is the issue here and clarify it so that both of us can be on the same page, so that you can know exactly what went wrong or what was wrong, because clarifying the issue allows for the person to also understand what's going on here. The fourth one is close to that, and that's something like what Stephen Covey would say: seek to understand and then to be understood. Try to understand the person's position. It's not every bad behavior that comes with an intentional act to do something wrong. Sometimes there will be some situations or circumstances that are beyond the person's ability for them to act in such a manner. So you've got to be able to confront with that understanding. When you seek to understand, then you can then be understood. That allows the person to see into what you are speaking and get what exactly you're talking about. So as a leader, seek to understand first. Now the fifth tip I think would help you is to also explain the impact of such a behavior to the person. See, maybe the result, the report coming late will drive down productivity, or maybe it will cause someone else to do the same thing. We've got to be able to explain the impact, because when people see the impact of a wrong behavior, then the possibility of changing that behavior would show up. I hear people say that people don't like change. I always say that no, people like change. What they don't like is the impact of the change on them. So when people see that the impact of the change is going to be terrible for the organization, then they are likely to make some change happen. Number 6, the sixth tip is that you've got to clarify your expectation. Again, that brings you on the same page. What did you expect? What time did you want the report to come in? At what place did you want to meet? Sometimes we don't clarify things, and when it is hazy, people will act without a vision. It needs to be clear. Clarity helps us to achieve exactly what we want to achieve. And like it's often said, if it is not something that you are expecting, you might not be able to expect any good thing from it. So let it be clear conversation about it from the beginning. Then the final thing is that you've got to put that issue in the past. You see, when it's in the past, it's not in your view. When it's not in your view, you don't keep bringing it up. Sometimes we make the mistake as leaders of bringing up things that are in the past, and then we mess up the future with those things. Learn to put things in the past. See, when you confront positively, what you do is that you win a friend, and of course you lose an enemy. So remember, very first tip, the purpose of the confrontation, the purpose of confronting a bad behavior is to make a person, not to break that person. You want to deal with the issue, and that's very important, because really every leader needs to know how to bring redemption, not dysfunction, not deformation. Make sure that we deal with the bad habits, but do it in a positive way. My name again is Bisi Akande, and I'm called the Inspirer.